Okay, here we get the Shroud of Memory chapter, I suppose you could say, where we get the best healing companion in the game. I'm going to walk you through it just so it's nice and easy. Some people have difficulties. So let's go over the abilities first. Rifle Blast is just your basic white attack. Try not to use it. Charging in will get you across the room right in front of a group of enemies and immobilize it for just about 2 seconds. Sometimes it's worth it, but especially in this room, you have to watch out because you can go through a door or through a wall rather quickly. So I try to avoid it unless it's necessary. The same thing with checking out. Instead of charging in, you'll jet away, also going through walls and doors in certain locations. But the benefit to the checking out is that it will stun the nearby opponents for quite a bit longer than charging in. The blind side is going to be your main attack. It can only be done on quote-unquote vulnerable targets, but either almost any of the other abilities will make it vulnerable, so it's not too hard to do. This is going to be your main source of damage. On longer targets, the Rail Blast will actually be your main source of damage. The Rail Blast shoots somebody away from you, which is slightly safer than charging in as far as bugging through walls and doors, but it does still happen. But it also places a pretty powerful dot that stacks up to 3 times. So on a gold or champion enemy, this dot will actually be the main source of damage, and the blind side will just be your filler. The execute will, as indicated, if a target is below half health, it will take quite a bit of chunk, but it does have a cooldown of 15 seconds, so it does do a decent amount of damage, but it's not going to be your primary source. The terminate is an area of effect. You shoot down some missiles. Generally, you want the opponents stunned first, and then you can shoot down some missiles. It is actually not that much damage. If you have 3 or more enemies, it might chip away about 20% of their health, but you're better off, honestly, usually just using your primary damage sources. Assassinate is a good chunk of damage, but it's a long cast time. It's a 4-second cast time, and it doesn't do enough damage to justify it. So sometimes, if you want, you can use it as an opener, but that's about all you should be using it for. And then here is, of course, your regenerative ability. So you see here you have 3 people, 3 mobs in front of you. Or is it 4? It is 4. So what we can do is, very carefully, we can charge in. Notice I'm having my back to this. So we'll charge in this guy. I think he's in the center.
Orders. Neutralize enemy.
And then, see, it's already bugged. This is the kind of thing you can't really avoid. So we'll try and... Nope. The only way out of this is basically to kill yourself. So now you can see why I advise you to be super careful with these 2 mobilization abilities. So what we'll do instead is, I think we'll use some missiles to start softening these guys up.
Orders. Neutralize enemy.
See, it really doesn't do that much damage. And we can start sending away with Rail Blast and Blindside. Rail Blast and Blindside. And then you can set it to terminate if you like.
Orders. Neutralize enemy.
And we'll try it again.
Base compromised. Eliminate intruder.
And this is going to be your life for the next half hour. Hitting Rail Blast and
Target
Blindside.
acquired. HK unit. compromised. Eliminate intruder.
And dealing with the occasional positioning bug that goes on. I'm just going to skip through the cutscenes because I'm assuming you're going to do this on your own and you can get all the amusement that you want there. There is one or two dialogue options that do matter, the rest of them really don't, but I do suggest you go through it at least once because this is honestly a very amusing expansion.
No wonder there are no organics here.
Take care of your servers. You don't want them melting.
Goodness, I hadn't thought of that.
Orders. Neutralize enemy.
One less problem. I do enjoy a good fight. Wow, the Shroud wasn't kidding. As secret lairs go, this is impressive.
Focus fire on the power core.
No. And they be better than this one. One less problem. I do enjoy a good fight. Look at me, Master.
And another little hint here is these guys are all going to team up on you. What I generally do is I just wait over here by the area destructible until they all get here, and we use the area destructible and some missiles. I think that's all of them. Because otherwise it can get just a touch overwhelming. Risk charge out. I'm good to go.
I searched my data files 2 million times, but I still can't find any record explaining my function.
I'm sure it will come to you.
This is another spot where charge in and charge out is going to be difficult. Try not to do it. Try out assassinate here. Because again, the 4-second cast just it barely makes it worth it.
Look at me, Master! I do enjoy a good fight. My sensors indicate the left path leads to a dead end. We should go right.
What will we find there?
Things to shoot.
Good to know.
I'm in the fight. Got it.
Another thing to be careful is if you do get enemies in the lava, it's not an automatic kill for them, as you might think it would be. And the other problem is that they're still going to attack you and may no longer be in range or visible. And so you're going to be stuck in aggro for a little while. And essentially you're going to have to wait for your companion to kill them. The one thing to make Zoom kill quicker is to disable the alleviating armaments. That's a 4-second channel and takes up a lot of her time that's not necessary. So now she can spend more time on shooting while still healing. I will say that the alleviating armaments is her most powerful ability. So if you leave it off so that she does a little bit more damage, you're going to be suffering a little bit in the healing department.
I like your armor, HK. So shiny.
Thank you for noticing.
The lava glow really sets it off.
I like to be better looking than my enemies.
Target acquired. HK unit.
Okay, and this is your first major boss fight. It's not too bad. The one thing that you're going to look for is yellow circles on the ground. If you stay still, those yellow circles will add up to missile damage and may in fact end up killing you. So the thing with the boss fights is that you're just going to cast Rail Blast on cooldown and then just use your filler abilities, Blindside and Execute. And the rest of it is you don't even have to circle strafe, you just run around it and it will aim correctly. So we'll open up with Assassinate just because. Then we'll start stacking our dots with Rail Blast
Do not
and
touch the display.
Assassinate.
Do not touch
And
the
then
display.
just keep running around him. You don't have to face him. But we're just trying to avoid the missile blasts. This yellow
Please
circle here.
vacate the premises.
And so you can see the debuff on the boss. She has 3 stacks of Rail Blast on it. That's what we want to keep. That's where our damage is coming from. Just make sure that you don't have to cast Rail Blast on cooldown, but pretty close to it because of the global cooldown. As long as you keep 3 stacks on it,
Please
it's going to die
vacate the
super
premises.
easy. I just let them draw off, but that's okay. It's almost dead.
Captain.
And if we don't warn my master of the shroud,
And this interaction here, while amusing, will in fact depend on the targeting priorities that you set earlier in the game.
I'm on.
show us the way out, and no harm will come to you.
You're asking the wrong. The Shroud. Wait.
As a little spoiler, if you don't kill him, you can get him as a decoration, an NPC that you can put in your strongholds. He'll just stand there mopping for you. If you kill him, well, you kill him and you don't get him. Not a big deal. And these hallways will have the terminals for the bonus mission. Whether or not you do the bonus mission is up to you. It is not necessary at all. And so not doing them allows you to skip some content. So I'm just going to wait for the probe droid to get a little further away. And then we'll just sneak right by him. When you're facing multiple enemies, it's generally best to get rid of the easy ones first. That way you're not sitting there trying to take down a strong while 4 other people are still hitting you. So we'll start with Assassinate just because.
You'll have to go through me.
I do enjoy a good fight.
Again, with the bosses, you just want to layer that Rail Blast.
One less problem.
I'm not sure on this, but I think with this room,
Base
if you
compromised.
take out the
Eliminate
strong
intruder.
first, everything else dies and you just continue on with the thing. So I'm going to test that out now. No, not so much. All right.
There it is! Blast it!
Do enjoy a good fight.
Shroud personal log.
An underground volcano base and an underwater biome. The Shroud spared no expense.
He could have at least built a waterproof walkway. I don't want to rust down here.
You can't die, Master. I'd never recover. Look at me, Master.
And try as I might, there's really no good direct route. You're just gonna have to suffer through trash.
One less problem. Got it. I like this place. It's peaceful. Wait. Thought I detected a giant Faraxon shark. Never mind.
Are you playing with me?
Maybe a little. Pew! Pew, pew, pew! I do enjoy a good fight. Look at me, Master. One less problem. Feel better. I'm picking up multiple organic readings inside. I wonder if they can breathe underwater.
Interesting question.
It couldn't hurt to flood the base.
On the contrary, it would hurt them a great deal.
Got it. Pew! Pew, pew, pew!
Okay, and again here, if you don't touch the terminals, you get to skip some content. Not all of it. This is another room where it's actually a little difficult here to
Fire on the
use
power core.
the rail blast because they can start to get stuck up on these rafters and difficult to hit,
One less problem.
like so. No, this particular conversation, there are two resolutions.
Enough.
One, you take her with you, Or 2, you just kill her where she stands in the containment cell.
I prefer to.
I generally recommend taking her with you. She doesn't do a lot of damage. She performs as a tank subpar, but you get access to one of the most amusing cutscenes in the game.
No. I'm all.
Not going to spoil it for you.
These lumps need special suits just to breathe out here. Can you imagine?
Being a meatbag is terribly inconvenient.
And upcoming is probably what I would consider the hardest boss fight in the game if you don't know the trick. So this droid, the biggest ability you have to watch out for is it does a missile blast, and that missile blast will do more damage to you than Zoom can heal through it if you allow it to continue. So if you remember when I was going over my abilities, we have stuns that will interrupt it. The biggest one is checking out. So with this mob, basically you're going to be used check out on cooldown. As soon as you see it start to cast Missile Blast, check out, it'll stun it, and then you continue laying your dots down. And the robot's Missile Blast will come off cooldown and begin again just as your checking out comes off cooldown. So rather than wasting a cooldown with charge in, I just run up. You see it's missile blasting, so you just check out, continue to run up, and lay down your fillers. And you see check out is coming off cooldown, and there's missile barrage. I like to get it a little before that cast, but as long as the whole cast doesn't get through, you're going to be fine. Charge out is coming off cooldown. I'm going to wait for Missile Blast and then use it. Still have plenty of time to keep our dots stacked up. The fact that the enemy stays stunned for most of the fight just trivializes the encounter.
Orders. Neutralize enemies.
What? Stupid.
There it is! Blast it!
I still think
And this is the last boss fight of this particular chapter. It's not a terribly hard one. You're just going to layer dots, but there are some area effects that you need to worry about. So he is essentially the same thing as you, and he's going to be laying dots on you just the same as you are on him. Unfortunately, as a boss, he gets to be a little bit better, and his dot can stack up to 4. The other thing he's going to do is he's going to place you in certain areas of the room. I think it's called Surprise Me or something like that. You just have to move out of the red circles. It's not that big a deal. The other thing is that these turrets are going to pop up, and they're going to pull you to them. You'll have a companion ability that will allow Zoom to just break you free. You'll have 2 companion abilities. One, break you free when your turret is pulling you. The other one is a little shield that will actually break his dot. I would wait until you have 4 stacks of that dot on you, because it is a long cooldown on that shield. You probably only use it 2 or 3 times during the fight, depending on how long it lasts. And I wouldn't worry about charge in or anything like that. Okay, so there's the red circle. You just move out of it. It's fine, not a big deal.
Die horribly.
And here's the turret. There's the command ability. Just hit it, and it's fine. I'm watching my stacks.
Hear me.
He's only got 1 stack on him. That's good. 3 stacks of mine on him. Where we want to be. He's got 3 stacks on me. I'm just going to wait for 4 stacks. Zoom is still going through just fine. Now we'll clear our stacks and continue.
Die horribly. Promise. I will deactivate you.
And that's it. And then it's just cutscenes. There is one more important dialogue coming up. Oh yeah, details. This is just a slog. It's just trash mobs, but there's a lot of them.
Look at me, Master! Pew! Pew, pew, pew!
Target acquired. HK unit.
You're great! But I need you better. Got it!
Focus fire on the power core.
Look at me, Master!
Feel free to use charge in and charge out as much as you want in this room. I've yet to find a real issue with it.
One less problem!
And keep in mind that checkout is your stun, and if you use it to good effect, you'll be good to go. But Zoom is such a good companion healer that it doesn't really matter.
Today,
I'm the.
You... But I don't want... Oh!
This is the important decision. You can kill Zoom, but this obviously removes it from the game. The Master will decide, allows you to... Oh, no, wait, this is just the Shroud. We can
you
probably kill the
planted
Shroud.
bombs to kill people. Solution? It is not that. Felt wonderful.
But he wasn't the Shroud.
This is the dialogue. So, you can deactivate her, and that will prevent it from being a companion. If you choose one of the first 2 options, you do get her as a companion, and that's what we want. That's the whole point of doing this.
But you wouldn't believe
And that's it. That's Shroud of Memory done in half an hour or so. And it is absolutely worth it because, as I said, because of that alleviating armaments and the fact that Zoom sends out a Kolto Cloud, it is the best healing companion in the game. And so it should be a must-get. If, of course, you can afford the 3,800 cartel coins. What you're looking for, and I probably should have done this first, is this guy right here. And again, it's 3,800 coins, so that's an expansion all of its own. The expansion is essentially just that chapter, but you get access to Zoom. And if you have the money, do it. That's all from me. We'll see you next time. Thanks.